you very much, Bill, and it's very kind of you to give me this opportunity to let you all know about the FTC's plans for a workshop. We're going to have it on September 15th. The title is Can News Media Survive the Internet Age? Competition, Consumer Protection, and First Amendment Perspectives. Now, first, I want to say I did not plant the question about antitrust. And in fact, what I wanted to start with was to give you some sense of a special role that the Federal Trade Commission plays that is not usual for an enforcement agency. I was reminded of this because Michael Shanahan, when I met him this morning, said, it makes me kind of nervous to have the FTC looking at news and journalism and what are you guys up to? This is not the beginning of an enforcement action. The FTC, in contrast to the Department of Justice, which also has an antitrust division, which is the traditional place where questions of antitrust immunity or the Newspaper Preservation Act get played out, is an enforcement agency. The FTC is an enforcement agency in antitrust, but it also has special jurisdiction to hold hearings, write reports on phenomena in society that are of interest to how competition is playing out, consumer protection issues that are arising. And just as an example of a couple of the things that we've done in the past, around 2000, in the spring of the year, there were a spate of articles about B2B marketplaces, basically saying these won't happen because antitrust is going to get in the way. And we held a few workshops, wrote a report, explained what the antitrust analysis would be, and basically came to the conclusion that if you properly structured these, there was no reason whatsoever for antitrust to stand in the way of that. In terms of the issue of rights management and the whole notion of the protection of public goods, we held a series of hearings on patents and patent reform, how patents were interacting with competition in different industries, and wrote a big report that contributed to the congressional discussion of patent reform. We're coming out with another report this summer because patent reform is nothing that happens quickly, and hopefully will move the conversation further. So I wanted to give you the perspective that we're coming at this not through the lens of, are these people about to violate the antitrust laws, but rather, how can we understand what is happening in this marketplace? We try to be ahead of the curve in understanding where the markets are going and why and how is this working. Obviously, there are questions about what are the new business models that might work here. People are talking about collaboration. If Congress starts to ask, do we need antitrust immunity? We do need to be in a position to understand whether we think that antitrust immunity makes sense or whether there's any need for antitrust immunity. A lot of the collaboration that I've been hearing about doesn't immediately leap to my mind as necessarily needing antitrust immunity. There are joint ventures, as Mr. Isaacson mentioned, and thank you for the word in favor of competition. We're very much in favor of competition. But there are joint ventures like ASCAP and other systems that have evolved that have passed muster under the antitrust laws. It's not an entirely obvious analysis. Obviously, there are consumer protection issues, and there's another FTC attorney who's here, Molly Crawford, who is in our Division of Privacy and Identity Protection, who has looked at behavioral advertising and other kinds of issues like that. That will be part of what we're looking at. The potential digital rights management issues. This is really our attempt to understand what's going on and help move the discussion. We're not looking to be the place where the answers are found, but simply to help move the discussion. And now I will go back and preface my remarks by saying that whenever I speak, it's on behalf of myself only, and it does not necessarily represent the views of the Commission or any of the Commissioners. So you can sort of wipe out everything you just heard. But that is sort of the shorthand version. We're very much at the beginning of this. This is a wonderful conference for us to be able to come to and start the learning process. We have a lot more learning to do, and we're hoping that many of you in this room will help us with that learning process. Thank you very much.